All right.
Jimmy Toscano, top 5 Celtics. Larry Bird, Bill Russell, John Havlicek, Jason Tatum, Kevin Garnett. Not seen.
Where's Paul Pierce?
No Paul Pierce. I'm
My
sorry.
top 5. Paul
I'm
Pierce.
sorry.
Paul Pierce.
Yeah,
Paul Pierce, and KG. We'll give KG number 5. How about that?
not
No.
there. And
Your
Rajon
Paul
Rondo,
Pierce.
by the way, not there either. But that's okay.
Rondo's a 6. Your Pierce hatred. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
It's beyond
It's
comprehension.
Celtics Lakers. It's Celtics Lakers. We're going to start the show now.
Always has to be a shot at somebody.
I know.
They're never clean.
They have to run. That's the only shot they have.
They do it for 82 games. We're about to find out.
He already has shown what he's capable of.
Did surprise me. I thought we were going to hang in there.
This makes me think that we do need to be humble.
I actually think you're the only one who deserved that beating.
Yeah, Hamid. Let it roll. Celtics, Lakers. I hate the Lakers. I wish there was somebody on this team tonight that I hated. I didn't know half the guys on the damn team. Then nobody good played. But I guess what? I just hate the colors.
Yeah. Oh, I like the colors. I like the royalty. I want to hate the Lakers more, but this wasn't the Lakers that they played tonight. This was,
by the way,
this
John,
was.
it's mulled wine season. It's hot wine season.
Oh God.
Yeah, this is hot wine.
Is that what we got? Yeah.
Yeah, little. I'll explain it in a bit. Go on.
Okay.
I'll go over the ingredients in a bit.
Okay. Were you at like a holiday thing tonight?
No, as you know, I came back from Paris, and hot wine is the big thing over there around Christmas. So I'm bringing it back to America. I'm thinking about opening up a little like hot wine bar, a little hot wine stand, like in the city somewhere, and just passing out nice, warm, cozy, hot glasses of wine. It's not just wine; there's more to it.
Hot ham water.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we can do that anyway.
Vin showed, I think is how you pronounce it.
Anyway, everybody knows. Look at culture, Jimmy. I like it. Not that you didn't have it before, but you brought something back with you. I like that.
You Americans. I
know. I'm so American. But anyway.
Anyways, F the Lakers. Blowout tonight. Coast to coast win.
Bit of a bummer. I'm sorry.
I know. It really
I'm trying to muster the energy to do this because again, it's fun, right? LeBron is fun. Luka is fun. Watching Jalen, or Walsh frustrating Luka all night would have been a ton of fun.
It would have been awesome.
There would have been a lot of things, and again, there's energy, and it just took the juice out of the building tonight. Where imagine buying those tickets. Oh my God. Nope, you muted yourself.
If you purchased tickets to this game like a month ago or however, you are pissed right now. You're pissed. Yeah. LeBron, love him or hate him, is appointment television. He's one of those guys where you go to the game because you want to see him. Whether you cheer for him or boo him, you want to see him play. Luka is an international superstar. The Lakers are the Lake Show. Everywhere they go, it's a good atmosphere. So it definitely takes the wind out of the sails a little bit when they announce the two best players. And by the way, Marcus Smart on top of it all, a guy that obviously has a lot of fans here in Boston, doesn't play either. So why is LeBron playing in Toronto and not in Boston? You telling me he couldn't have sat last night and played here tonight in Boston? That's a freaking joke.
I don't know. The whole thing bugs me.
Disrespectful to the rivalry.
The whole thing bugs me. Anyway, we're going to get underway. Before we get really started, we want to remind everybody out here that this show is a proud part of the CLNS Media Network. It's the flagship show, I would say, of the CLNS Media Network. It's the longest standing program. It's featured many iterations of Jimmy Toscano in the field, over doing his thing with different guests, Nick Gelso, Jared Weiss. It's been taped. It's been live. It's been a lot of different things. But we're here. If you like the Garden Report and you like the content that we put out, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to all of them, really. Patriots content, Patriots Press Pass, Bruins Ringside for Bruins content. Really good stuff throughout. Terrific History Channel content as well, for you oldies out there. And yeah, we're going to have a little oldie conversation because Jaylen Brown dropped his top 5 players, and it was a curious list, and we'll debate that a little bit as well. I will let all of you out there know that while we value our Celtics All Access channel because it has a ton of great Celtics content and lots of different podcasts on there as well as other elements of the Garden Report, we are moving this live stream for good by Christmas over to the main CLNS media channel. So please migrate over if you
come on
sooner
down.
or later. Other quick programming notes, super chats, you want to give them, that's great. Divvy them up around the hosts. Get Jimmy some more mulled wine. Get Bobby some new bucket hats, whatever you want. Throw in your super chats. We'll put your comment up on the screen, and we will discuss it. And, of course, we want to let you know our show, as always, is brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks, number 1 daily fantasy sports app in all of North America. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, download the app, code CLNS, 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, Jimmy, we can say, oh, boo-hoo, all the good guys didn't play, and they didn't, and it is a bummer. But one thing that's been remarkable with the Celtics this year is 0 letdown games, literally none. They've had a couple crappy performances, but barely any games where you're like, they didn't bring it tonight at all.
Brooklyn,
and so it's pretty, I mean, a couple, but like I said, it's pretty easy to be like, it's a back-to-back and some crap Lakers team and the stars aren't playing and you'll coast. And they didn't do that. They came in and they dropped the hammer. It helps when you're shooting 71% from the floor and 68 from 3 halfway through the second quarter. That means you have to try a little less hard, which is what happened a little in the third quarter. And they let LA creep in a little, but this game was never in doubt. But again, the effort was there start to finish. And it's interesting seeing the Amazon guys do a game here because I don't think it's the first one, but it is interesting just hearing the outside perspective on what people are thinking about the Celtics, and just a lot of love coming the Celtics way in terms of the way they're playing, way the offense is humming, Jaylen Brown, and a lot of love for Joe Mazzulla and the way that he's managed this roster. And again, it's hard to argue with any of it at this point. They're a good story, man. They really are. Like they're clearly, punching above their weight and exceeding expectations, and they're doing it night in, night out. And they're freaking 14-9 right now. They're 14-6 since losing those first 3 games. That's a 70% win percentage. If you could do that math, Jimmy. 14-6 is 7-3 essentially. They're playing 700 ball since losing their first 3 games, and this gauntlet, this is it. They just got through it, and they murdered everybody. They could have gone perfect if not for the letdown in Minnesota. So incredible what's happening here. And again, bummer that we didn't get to see the stars, but they went out, they took care of business. Yeah, and again, I said it either last night or the night before. When I left to go to Paris, I was worried that I was going to come back and it was going to be over for this team, because I was just looking at the schedule. I saw some of the opponents that were coming up: Minnesota, Cleveland, Detroit, obviously Lakers, and again, some of the players played, some didn't. But the one thing that was consistent, John, is this team plays freaking hard, kid. They just play hard, and it shows every single night. They do play hard. They don't always have to. They don't always have the most talented 5 guys out in the court. In fact, a lot of times they don't. But they get to loose balls. They rip down rebounds. They get it on the break. Jaylen Brown goes into dummy mode. He's one of the. Jaylen Brown is in the MVP conversation. We might have to have that conversation as well. Look, I do want to say, it's cute that Jaylen enters like the top 10 in the conversation. The reality is there's only 2 or 3 people actually. The point is, John, the fact that he's in the conversation, even though he's just in first team All NBA conversation. Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll go with that. Okay. Sure. Yeah. That's a more realistic conversation starter, which is unbelievable in and of itself. But when you do talk about, and there we always go back and forth on what's the definition of valuable.
Jaylen Brown is the definition of valuable right now because he is leading a team that has no business really at all being in the position that they're in with the record that they have. But Jaylen Brown is leading this team to that record, to that style of play, to that line of effort, to that type of effort that you're seeing from the top.
Audible to zone, messed up.
Hey, Jimmy, we're going to jump in on Joe. Sorry about that.
No,
they just told me he's up.
You're doing a lot of in-game coaching. It seems like you're doing a lot more teaching on the fly this year with a younger team, especially with Josh. Like, it seems like you have like a certain rapport with Josh. Do you feel like you can, like, he can take the coaching, a little bit harder coaching? Like, what's that relationship in game with him?
Just constantly communicating. I mean, he plays a tough role because of his versatility and his ability to, he's defending ball handlers, he's defending screeners. They're changing matchups on him, and just continuing to grow and execute. And he has a willingness to learn. He has an open-mindedness, and he wants to get better. And I think he's gotten a lot better. So it's just a credit to him. He cares about the details. He cares about wanting to get it right. But he plays a unique role for us where he's seeing a bunch of different reads over the course of the game on both ends of the floor. And the growth of him is to get to the point where he can just make those on his own consistently. He does a great job, studying those things. But it's just a communication and a teaching. I really enjoy coaching him.
Joe, do you get any additional joy or energy out of playing the Lakers because of the rivalry?
I don't know.
I get no joy
out
of anything.
It's a blessing
Ever.
to be able to be a part of something that is much bigger than yourself. I mean, this rivalry's been around a lot longer. It's going to be around longer than I'm here, and so I think it's just along the way you take advantage of the perspective and the blessing of it. But at the end of the day, no, I don't. But I understand the opportunity and the blessing that it is to be able to do that. You can't take that for granted.
Do you have any? You're from New England, Rhode Island. Like, do you have any early memories, either growing up or like when you first got here, where you, like the first time you fully appreciated like how much of a, like you used to call it a blessing, like it is like to play in this?
I mean, I would probably say the 08 probably was the biggest version of that. I think I was in college and
hell yeah,
when I really started to appreciate basketball and so I would say that kind of brought to light that from that competitive standpoint.
Joe, Derek shot 50% or better in 4 of the last 5. Obviously wasn't the start he wanted efficiency-wise. I'm just wondering what you've seen from him in the last couple of games here.
He's continuing the same effort and energy on both ends of the floor. And, I think as we continue to evolve offensively and play with a level of pace and execute and work the reads that we have, he's getting some catch-and-shoot shots. And, I mean, listen, for him, he got 6 catch-and-shoot shots per game last year and shot 40%. At the beginning of the year, it was at 4.8 for 28.6%. And so that's it. It was just the ability to just make a couple more catch-and-shoot shots. And once he was able to do that, you're seeing the consistency that he has. But the thing about him is regardless of if he's making shots or not, he plays with a level of energy, joy, and detail. And, like every other game, he gets one of those full court back tip steals in transition. So he doesn't allow that stuff to bother him. He's got to continue to play and execute. He's doing a good job of it.
Joe, it seems like from where we sit that the offense has just found a good rhythm of guys knowing when
Get
to
in
pass,
there, Bobby.
when to kick it out, when to, kind of when to do the things that you want them to do on the floor. Was there a stretch of the season where you were kind of teaching that and then it kind of seems like it kind of clicked and came to fruition over the last couple of weeks? Is that how it seems for you, or are guys making reads that they were making earlier on, but just shots are falling, so it feels that way more? Like, where do you see the evolution?
I think we're definitely going through a stretch of shooting luck. That's for sure. That we weren't going
shooting
through
luck.
At
You
the beginning
said?
of the season. I think we're definitely shooting the ball better than we were. So that does make everything seem better. But
I have
I
breaking
think you come
news
into
to
the
tell you.
season with an
I'll tell you guys
identity and a
after.
level of execution that you want to have, and then you
Breaking
learn more
news.
about your
Text
team.
me.
And so,
Text me right now.
we obviously, as we continue to evolve offensively,
I want
put
the chat
guys-
to learn
have
at the
guys
same
in different
time.
spots, playing different lineups, working the reads. What the matchups are, what the coverage is, what the spacing should be. Tonight we go over a certain type of spacing, and in the second quarter we kind of messed it up 3 times. And if you don't have the proper spacing, the team's able to take advantage of that defensively. And so it's just there's small reads that you have to constantly make that we're working, and because of the versatility of the sub patterns, you see that. So I think we came in with an identity of how we wanted to play, and I think it's ever evolving just based on the season. I think the guys are doing a good job understanding that.
Is it something that the whole team had to learn together, or the guys that are, Peyton, Jalen, Derek, they were kind of ahead of the curve on that, and it was about getting...
No,
They
it's
had
like
to learn together
Bobby's
because
not
it was
gonna-
something different. That
he's not
was,
jumping
was
in
a little
here.
bit different, especially
I'll ask
playing
too.
with other guys. And so I think those guys have done a good job communicating, what those reads are supposed to look like, what the spacing is supposed to look like. Our player development staff does a good job. It was on everyone because we were doing something a little bit different than we had been in the past. Thanks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so it's not great breaking news, but a tease is a tease is a tease. What did we miss in that press conference, Jimmy?
What do you mean? What did we miss?
What didn't happen?
Oh, Bobby didn't get a question off.
Bobby Manning was banned from the Celtics press room.
I think
no, that's not true. But that would have been great.
Don't say that. Our guy needs a win.
Banned. No, Bobby tapped out. I'm not going to Joe. He went to Lakers.
Wow.
He went to go find. Wow. That's fine.
He went to talk to Austin Reeves, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the big get tonight. Listen, you skip the coaches for LeBron. I used to always skip the coaches for the opposing team. That was where I made my career in the visiting locker room, John. Okay.
I got them for a second. They got him. It was unfair. It was unfair.
I mean, it's quite the coincidence we didn't hear from Bobby tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why.
Banned. Press credential revoked. Gone. Can't be there.
I'll go.
Anyway,
I'll go.
Well, we were talking about it before. Jaylen Brown. Sure. Look, I like I said, I'm not saying he doesn't belong in the.
You know what I meant.
His name's in there. It's just realistically, it's a 2 or a 3-man race. It's just going to be hard to crack that, and that's what it's been each year. Where Tatum, he's in the Tatum world right now. Tatum each year has been. Is he going to finish 4th? Is he going to finish 5th? Is he going to finish 6th? That was the ceiling. Brown's in that conversation there too. Could he get all the way up to 4 or 5 in the MVP voting? Yeah, he can. Absolutely he can. So I don't disagree with you. It'll look good on the resume. He can't actually win the MVP, because you have, other guys having historic seasons for a team that the friggin' Thunder might win 80 games. I just don't know what you're going to do about that.
I think the point is
I don't know what you're going to do about that. But he's great. And Noah put this up here, and I think it's fair. And then you can continue your point. I just want to put it up as a little visual here. It feels like Jaylen Brown has been the best player on the floor almost every game this season.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can argue that. He goes off against Anthony Edwards. He was better. Minnesota won. But anytime you've seen a situation where it's someone on the other side who's supposed to be a star, Jalen Brunson, nope. It was Jalen. Guys who people are putting up ahead of him, either in voting, awards, accolades, or just kind of perception. He's buried them all so far this year.
I think it goes back to just watching the games. Just what do you see out there, and this, you're right, he's not going to get probably the votes required to win, the MVP or whatever. But if you're a consumer of Celtics basketball, which we all are, anybody watching this show is, we might have a couple Lakers fans. Get lost, guys. Otherwise, you've seen the same thing that everyone else has seen. Jaylen Brown is playing arguably the best basketball of his career. He's in the most control I've ever seen him out in the basketball court.
Exactly. Everything's slower.
He's playing smart basketball. He's playing composed. He's always been, in my eyes, the kind of like the leader of the team. Yeah. But now I'm seeing it even more so. And he's saying the right things, but the way he plays, I think he's getting. John, you can probably back me up on this. This has been the best team player Jaylen Brown that we've ever seen, meaning he's making the players around him better.
And I said it the other day.
Than he had in the past.
The two things I like the best out of it is, there's his shot total is up. And that's understandable. His 21, 22 field goal attempts per game. But it has to be. Nothing feels forced. He's not out there chucking at all. He's getting to his spots and getting good shots. Even the misses tonight were good shots. He rimmed out 5 or 6 great looks. More than that. There's nothing. Between him and Tatum, the amount of times, even when that I'll go, like with Tatum, I'll be like, what the was that? Like, you don't get that with Jalen. What you get with Jalen is a little bit out of control, turning the ball over, loose with the dribble, head down, blah, blah, blah. But again, I made the case this year, a couple days ago. I'm not saying better without Tatum, but he doesn't have to share. So he doesn't have to worry that every time the ball touches his hands, he's got to put it up. He's just making the right reads more often, but he's going slow, much more slow. And he's not forcing the issue offensively at all. And he would do that sometimes, again, when sharing with Tatum, because I think it's like I said, is you got 8 brothers at the dinner table and the food hits the table. You got to freaking go get yours, or else it's gone. Like that's an issue on the teams. The last 2 teams Brown's been on. It's when the ball's in my hands, I'm putting it up. It's my turn now. You guys.
Yeah. It doesn't always mean it's the right shot for him or the best shot or a good shot. But he's like,
I guess you called my number.
Here. I guess this is what we've got left. Mashed potatoes is all that's left. I guess I'll just fill my plate with mashed potatoes. So it's not even any gravy. Oh, well, I'm going to take it anyways.
It's like you handed the running back the ball. He's got to run with it, and that's what he would do. You don't see that as much here. And what I do have to say is you poor, sad people in the chat that think it's difficult for me to say this kind of stuff. What's probably difficult is you guys realizing that, like, I'm saying it now that it's true. And then before it wasn't true.
Don't go down this road again.
And that's what hurts you guys the most is, he wasn't that good last year. He had a down year, but you guys are talking about him last year like he's playing the way he is this year. And you see the inconsistency? They can't you call it how you see it. Can't always be.
Right.
He's playing.
If you always say he's
better
good, or if you always say he's bad, then nobody's ever actually going to take you seriously or believe that you're right.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to have any credibility, you can't be all one thing all the time. So I'm sorry.
Like the Derek White argument.
I'm sorry, Zannis haters.
It goes back to the Derek White argument when he was traded to the Celtics.
It's a Derek White argument. Yeah, he wasn't good in the beginning, and then he was good. And then we said he was good when he was good. It's weird, right?
Like, see, he is good. We're like, yeah, now he's good.
Yeah, now. But you see it with everybody. We did it with Bobby and Luke. Like when Bobby was clamoring for Luke, it wasn't there. Like he wasn't that guy yet. Right. Here's Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is that guy. And check out the fit here, guys. You're gonna like this.
You're not that guy, buddy.
You're not that guy, pal.
Oh no, the shades.
Jaylen. Jaylen, what's it like for you gearing up for a primetime game against the Lakers and finding out that LeBron and Luka's
These comments are so sad.
Just another game.
So
obviously
sad.
Those are great players. It's an honor to compete against those guys, but my job is to go out there, help our team get wins, and that's what we did tonight.
I still kind of want to trade him.
You've been here for a decade now. Do you get
value's never been higher
out of this Celtics Lakers rivalry, with the history and getting to be a part of it and everything like that?
For sure. The atmosphere, is always amazing.
Guys,
a lot of history that.
Little tip for the writers: the Celtics-Lakers sidebar isn't going to happen tonight. There's nothing. Nobody gives an F about the matchup tonight.
It's been fun.
When you first
none of the guys played.
Where you it clicked oh, this is something really special, like a player explaining it or a moment in one of the games or anything like that.
Right away, the first one
makes it so sad.
Celtics Lakers is like you can feel the atmosphere, you can feel the energy in the building, and then as a player, what better environment?
I appreciate you, Mason.
A lot of history, a lot of people tuned in, a lot of people excited.
Look at this one. This is
so
tough.
all you got to do is show up ready to play.
Nick Wright.
Jalen, your assist numbers have been trending upwards in recent weeks. Obviously, guys have to make the shots for the assist account, but how much satisfaction are you getting out of drawing two and kicking it out, whether it's threes, whether it's guys down by the basket? What's your emotional process when you're able to kind of get guys going and kind of set them up based on the attention that you're drawing?
Just making the right play.
Tonight, dude.
Watching
you're gonna get dragged all season,
seeing where I can get my guys more
involved.
You
can take
it. Get some easy baskets. Because that's great. That's a great sign for our team when Peyton, Derek, Sam, and are hitting threes. Anthony. So just using the attention that I have to our benefit.
Has it been getting a lot easier, would you say, throughout the season, or is it?
Yeah, I think we are. When you have a bunch of guys figuring it out for the first time, of course you all expect it to just sink right away. But we had 5 or 6 new players. Like, we were all figuring it out. You know, I know you guys don't care about that, but, you know, we've been getting better every single day. And it's coming together a little bit now, but we still got a lot of work to do.
Jalen, you're almost through this kind of treacherous stretch of the schedule. You guys have won 9 of 11.
Say that fast. Treacherous stretch.
Expectations raised now. I mean, do you look at the rest of the East and you look at yourselves and go, okay, like, we're not just a little engine that could here. Like, we can actually do some damage here.
Yeah, I think the expectation level has always been the same in my brain. You know, just come out and compete and maximize our potential and kind of go from there. Don't focus on like the end result. Focus on what you can control. Right, that's in front of you.
Yeah, trading for Beal, why not?
You know, winning each possession. You know, being the harder playing team, all that good stuff. Sounds boring, but that's the type of stuff that leads to building a really good team.
And you know, you had the illness yesterday. Were you able to watch the game? And what was it like to watch them score 146?
Yeah, we rolling. It was balling last night. We had some good plays. When Hugo got that block, I was yelling at the TV. So we got guys who are, you know, finding their stride, feeling confident, and you can see it.
Jalen, Derek shot 50% or better in 4 of the last 5 now. Just wondering what you've seen from him in the stretch and what it does for you guys offensively when he's rolling like that.
Yep, Derek is finding his stride as well, and those are all good signs. When Derek starts checking his pockets for threes, you know that's a good sign for our team.
Jalen, it seems like Jordan's been incapable of missing lately. He's 18 and 19 over the last 3 games. Just what it's been like watching him gain that offensive confidence.
It's been great. It's been great, honestly. It's been great. I don't want to boost his head up too much. I don't want him to start getting cute. He got to still take care of the details. But he's been doing a good job. But we're going to need him to maintain that. So y'all don't boost his head up too much.
That's it. That's Jaylen Brown. It's funny. I forgot he didn't play yesterday. You know, he's saying he was watching it on the TV. But he did not. He did not. So fresh Jalen coming out there, dropping 38-8 on the Lakers tonight.
LeBron was scared, man. LeBron didn't want the heat, man.
LeBron didn't want the smoke. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. Jaylen Brown was terrific. Bobby Manning reports that he was allowed into the Lakers locker room, and he did get a chance to talk to Marcus Smart. So we're going to hear from Marcus Smart because that poor dude, man, nothing's gone his way. You know, there. But again, he's on a decent team here. He's hurt again, which is a real bummer, but it is what it is. Before we move on and we hear from Marcus and other people, we do want to give another quick shout out to our pals over at Prize Picks. And again, it's the season. 'Tis the season, Jimmy. Any season, really. Whatever sport you follow the most here, basketball, football, hockey, it's all there. Get in on the action on Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in all of North America. Pick more, pick less, 2 to 6 stat projections. It's that easy. And cash in. Turn your opinions into cold, hard cash with Prize Picks. And you see the offer on the screen here. Download the app. Code CLNS gets you 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Can't go wrong with that. Super easy. As I said, more or less 2 to 6 player stat projections. You can mix and match sports. You can stack stats on one particular player, points, assists, rebounds, what have you. There's a lot of cool things like free squares that you can insert into your lineup. Makes it easier to cash in.
Give me
flex
more.
play. Yeah, give me more. And you always go more. And as I said, you see it. It is that easy. It's a fun.
Yeah, don't
if
be
you
the
play
guy
this type
going
of game,
last.
this is the best. Yeah, this is the best place to play it. It's a lot of fun. It's a very intuitive app, very easy to use. So again, you'll see the offer on the screen in a second. You download the app. You put code CLNS. Bang, right there.
Bang,
Play
dude.
50, get 5 instantly. Prize Picks. It is good to be right, my friend.
Right.
That mulled wine's hitting you. You
damn
might have
good to
caught
be
you in a little yawn there, wino.
No. This is not just your average wine. There's a couple other special ingredients in there if you want me to go in it. So it's wine.
I'm
bottle of red.
nervous.
Toss it in. You're gonna toss in a bottle of red in the pot. Start it on low. Then you're gonna mix in 1/4 cup of brandy. Okay, that's very important. You want a little get a little zing in there. Then right now, all you've got is booze. You've got to make it mulled. So you slice up an orange, slice it up in circles. You slice a lemon. You just want the zest of the lemon basically in the pot. Then you're gonna the most important part is nutmeg, cinnamon, and there's one other thing I'm forgetting, but it's like a star in the shape of a star.
Star anise, yeah.
Star anise. Thank you. You got to throw a few star anise in there, and you just let it.
A few. That shit is strong.
I know, as you can see, and you just let it simmer for like 30 minutes. I'm probably missing a couple ingredients.
Yeah, that gives you your little licoricey sort of vibe there.
Yeah, gives you the licoricey vibe, but you've got the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the fruit, the spices all coming.
Yeah, it's basically a.
Smells like
winter
Christmas
sangria.
in here, dude. Yeah, it smells like Christmas in here. It's unbelievable.
It's a winter sangria.
Sangria.
Pretty much. That's what you do. I make a sangria
Massive
with
in
like
Europe. Absolutely
literally an
massive in
entire bottle of rum, and people are on the friggin' floor because nobody expects it. There's so much rum in it. So much rum.
That's not what you're supposed to do.
No, yeah, you gotta add a little booze to the rum. I like that. You could do brandy
By the way,
too, but
I'm
I
not
put
in an
dark.
interrogation room. There's just very poor wall decoration on this side of the room right now.
Somebody put it in there. It's like Jimmy drinking wine in a closet.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's hardcore.
I can show you that there is in fact furniture.
Pictures in your cell.
Yeah, it's a big closet. Listen, I know everyone's used to the loft. Everyone's used to my loft.
Callahan does his pot. Callahan does his pot against a white wall too. It looks like he's a prisoner. Yeah,
I'm just like Callahan.
It is.
I'll take that.
It is what it is. It is what it is. We did say that we heard from Marcus. I'll wait till Bobby comes out here. We get a chance to talk to him.
Anything good, hopefully.
Jaylen Brown has been the best player on the floor. Oh, okay. That was it. Somebody, it was a piece of content. I was curious what Ahmed threw in there. A little guy. He's always up to something.
Damn it, Ahmed.
Yeah.
No, we love Ahmed. Yeah, where are the paper towels? Somebody asked in the chat. That's an OG comment right there. I'll be stuck at home this Christmas at some point. I'll be in the parents' basement at some point with the paper towels, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're getting POW Joe Sway, LOL. I got a gem. I got a gem I'm bringing out a little bit later. You guys want to hang on a little bit later in the show, but I'm holding it for Bobby and Noah as well. It's a gem, but you might see hostage Joe Sway from his setup as well.
Joe Sway,
Thankfully he doesn't talk in the clip, so you don't
you wouldn't hear
the friggin' the breakup.
I'll be honest, I kind of miss the Brockton Wi-Fi.
I'm telling you, nothing. I was like this every show. As soon as he'd start talking, I'm like, oh my God, shut up. Oh my God.
Ahmed wouldn't have let that flew. He wouldn't have let that happen back in the day.
Flying is the correct pronunciation. No. Anyway, going through some of the game stuff. And again, Jordan Walsh, we'll talk about him again because he was terrific for a second night, almost like in a bored ho-hum sort of way. But again, he finishes a team high plus 28.
Broadcast loved Jordan Walsh tonight.
The broadcast loved him because he had Reeves in jail until Reeves really started grifting. And started getting to the free throw line. An insane amount of free throws. Holy crap. 17 free throw attempts from Austin Reeves. And then he started doing what he does. He's a scorer, man. That guy's a bucket. And he found a way to get his. But Walsh made life tough on him early. He was up in his shit all game long. Sam Hauser, I love seeing the moon ball threes, man. If it's all he does, 4 for 8 field goals, 4 of 7 from 3. But he did it. He did the stuff he had to do.
One thing, just let it be that.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on one second. I'm asking these guys. We got a lot of sound here. I don't know.
Hey, everybody, just hold on.
Who do we want to hear from? Do you want to hear from Peyton Pritchard? I was shocked too. I thought Pritchard had a lot more points than he did when I looked at it. He only scored 15. I felt like he was getting a bucket every 2 minutes. But
I don't really need to hear from anybody, to be honest. But I will if that's what you want to do.
No, not really. Said they was. Oh, Noah said no. Not good. We did put a poll up there. Is Jaylen Brown officially in the MVP race? I don't know. Jimmy thinks. I think so. I think he's in the top 5 convo.
I didn't, for the record, I didn't
He's
say
not
he was like
he's in the
leading.
he's in the top 5 convo for sure now.
He's in the. You're putting him top 5 now. Okay, look at you. See,
I'm
now
saying
you're
he's in the he's in the conversation where he can enter the top 5. I still don't think he's there. I think he just entered and he's kind of like 7, 8, 9, 10. He's down below, like in terms of odds and stuff.
He's showing up.
But
to
I'm
the
saying,
party,
I'm
but
saying
he's
he
kind of
can
like chilling on like the side kind of. He's at like the punch.
He can knock on that top 5 All NBA door. He
He's just kind of
absolutely
like
can.
this at the punch at the punch bowl.
Yeah.
He's not
We
really
don't
like
wanna-
on the dance floor yet.
Yeah, we don't want to hear from Hauser. We don't want to hear from Peyton, not because they're bad, but they didn't. Yeah,
You know what you can
But
do?
we do wanna-
You can go to CLNS,
but-
you can go and watch it. They can watch it right after the show.
Watch it on our channel. All of those will be posted. But we do want to hear a little bit from Marcus Smart, who Bobby went out of his way to go talk to, and Marcus did talk to us this time. I think he ducked the media during his Memphis return last year, which I had tickets to. That was great, seeing him not play. But here's Marcus Smart after the game.
Real quick, back here a handful of times
Nope.
at this point.
He's up.
Have the emotions changed at all? The atmosphere and just what it's like being here as you think about things coming in?
No, the emotions are the same every time. This was my home for 9 years. I came in as a 19-year-old kid, and for 9 years. So it was crazy. I got engaged while I was here. I grew up a lot. So emotions are always going to be the same here.
What's your impression of the Celtics team, seeing them for the first time here, and some of the guys who are stepping up, obviously some familiar faces for you too, and Jalen and Derek. What do you think of this team so far?
Marcus Smart. It's exactly what I assume, man. When you got a foundation like the Celtics do, it's easy to buy in, and they're doing their thing. They're also the defending champs, and when you got that pedigree. You're not surprised when guys go down that, the opportunities for guys come up and they're taking advantage of it.
Obviously, you're close with Jason, saw what happened to him in the playoffs. How much have you kept in touch with him through this process? How's he seem to be doing as he recovers?
Not as much as I would like.
We did win the 80 last time, though.
Things happen, but I have been in contact with him here and there. And,
Wow.
He's in good
Confirmed.
spirits.
Don't talk.
He's good. And it's all love. I wish him a speedy recovery. We hate to see that in any sport, to any player, but, to a guy of Jay-Z's, his pedigree, his talent, that's tough. That hurts for the league. And obviously, for Boston. So that's all love, man. And like I said, I just hope, speedy recovery, comes back better.
For you joining the Lakers, I'm sure starting your career with the Celtics, you never imagined that happening. What's that like? What was it like for the first time putting on that jersey? And what's the experience been like being with this team, Luka, LeBron, that whole experience?
I was weird at first, and being here 9 years, I definitely didn't think that would be a possibility. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying every last bit. We got a great team in LA. We got some talented players, and we have a great opportunity. So, playing with Luka and LeBron, man, two of the best to ever do this in this game. And just try to take and learn from them and help in any way that I can. But I'm excited about it, and I'm proud to be there.
Last one I got for you. Has your perspective changed on your time here as the distance has grown, as time's passed here? Or you feel pretty much similar about the tenure you had here in Boston and everything you went through and, all the years you had here? Has your thinking on it changed at all, or are you pretty much where you're at in terms of...
No, I'll say I'm where I'm at. Excuse me, this is where, like I said, this is where I grew up at. So, it's always going to hold a special place for me, no matter where I'm at. But I'm, like I said, I'm blessed, and it allowed me to be the person I am today. And the wisdom that I've learned from it, I will always take to the heart with me.
So I think Marcus Smart's gonna end up back here at some point too. Let's bring in Bobby and Noah. And hi guys. Oh, it's hat season.
Whoa.
Nice. Yeah. Bobby,
double-breasted jacket season.
I don't know if it's confirmed, but I was told that you were not allowed in the Celtics press room. Can you confirm that?
Rumors are swirling.
Rumors are swirling. People are saying.
I think they'll let me back in.
Yeah, they'll let you back in. I also want to warn
Not
you guys.
permanent ban.
It is crazy that after yesterday, you never came back into the press conference.
That's it.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even
Walked
think about
away,
that.
never to be seen
Did I
or
miss
heard
much?
from again.
Bobby was like, I'm doing Lakers
Did I
today.
miss some thrilling
Well,
quotes?
Joe's
Yeah.
eyes were darting around the room. I wasn't sure. He seemed unfocused, so
They
I would think he was.
were.
Yeah, I think he was
He was
like,
looking for
where
you.
is
He might have been looking
where
for
is
me.
that
Like, where's
guy?
the-
I was trying to
Either
think.
he
I was brainstorming the whole game. What would I ask Joe after this one? I'm all
Either
frazzled.
he wanted another pound of flesh, or he just misses you. It's possible he just missed
He
you.
always.
I wonder
wants
if I
to
go
be
away
on.
for long enough, will he miss me? Will he soften up a bit?
No. I will say, I want to tell you guys that Jimmy has been drinking mulled wine, and I don't know where this is going to go from here.
Are we gonna have a repeat?
Extra
I
mulled.
don't know if we're going to have a repeat, but
We're
in
not gonna
case
have a
people,
repeat. We're not gonna have a repeat.
in case people
This isn't that
forgot
kind of game.
what happened way back when we played when the Celtics played the Lakers and Jimmy Toscano was a late one, and that's
I
when
think
Marcus
it's
hurt his
5
calf.
years ago, 4 or 5 years.
5
ago.
years ago, and Jimmy was like, I was out, but I'll be on. And we were like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, I'll be on the show. And he jumped on the show, and here's what it looked like.
I said I got
Rang,
it.
I want to make sure Marcus Smart's okay, but we'll keep
Moral
At least
victory.
Jimmy's back. Yeah, Jimmy back.
We do it. Wait, didn't we have Jimmy last game?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of feels like you just missed me.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Jimmy, you're a little quiet right now. You got to get closer to a microphone or speak up.
I'm quiet.
Yeah.
Project.
Use your lungs.
All right, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna put my headphones. I usually don't, but I'm going to. Well, I usually do, but I didn't this time. But I'm going to try to.
Okay.
All right, let's talk
we don't
about
have to
that
watch
last
the rest
play.
of it.
It was a sloppy friggin' game. I don't know how you don't. I mean, this is we're officially concerned about Kemba Walker game, right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We got you, Jimmy. Yeah, we talked about this last time. A game or two, and have him not perform well, and he's just getting started, and you let him ramp up.
You okay?
Marcus Smart went down tonight, and we're still not completely sure what happened. I'm hoping for the best that it is just a calf strain. I actually am a doctor, and I do believe that's what it is. So hopefully that's all it becomes. But when Kemba Walker just misses a shot, we can't we can't obviously we will because that's what we do, but that's who we want taking the shot.
Yeah.
Guy. I would, if you have a timeout.
That's what she's like, yeah.
If you have a time, take the timeout. If you're Danny Ainge, and everyone says this, Danny Ainge went out of his way to hire Brad Stevens. When Danny Ainge hired Brad Stevens, however years ago it was.
This was
we were
actually
like,
a great point.
Who the hell? Who is this guy? And am I right or am I wrong in that?
Right. Right.
You were so
Yeah.
right, Jimmy.
That was just for those wondering. That was
regular
a
Jimmy.
2-hour show, by the way. It was just like that for 2 hours.
It was COVID. You got to pass.
It was COVID. I think we were just allowed out of our homes for like 30 minutes. And I just took advantage of it. That's what happens. You can't keep me locked down.
See what
for
you
too
missed
long.
all those years ago?
Production
Oh
is
my God.
improved.
And so, I was shocked when we started this show, and Jimmy's got a little cup. I was like, "What do you got going in there?" He's like, "It's mulled wine. Let me tell you how I make it." We've spent
I had to put a
at
little
least
scare into you.
11 minutes on the show
So
about
look,
how Jimmy
real
makes
quick.
this. Yeah.
This is an orange that you put into the pot and you simmer it for about 30 minutes. But then what happens is the wine, it soaks in, like all the wine kind of soaks into the fruit a little bit. So even when you're done your drink,
orange.
you got a little
Yeah.
boozy orange that you can finish up with.
Sounds
Anyways,
good to me.
Yeah. Anyway, for those newish to the stream, I will tell you, the COVID years, and if you're wondering the origins of the show, that's kind of where it began. We had nothing to do. We couldn't go to games anymore. We couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So NBA is the first game in town. We started doing these shows, and it stuck.
we weren't
And
allowed
that
to
was the
see
crew.
people.
That was the crew back then. Joe Sway,
Jimmy's still having nightmares.
Joe Sway, in the the little hostage
Joe Sway.
situation there. Anyway, hey guys, so bummer that nobody played in this one, but again,
Oh man.
Impossible to not continue to point out that it doesn't matter. They don't have letdown games. This is the classic type of back-to-back. You're home. Nobody's playing. Could have laid an egg, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, and I was saying that earlier. I was like, all right, last couple of years when the Celtics have been in this spot, you've been like, uh-oh, here we go. They're just going to let down. They have superior talent here, but they're not going to play to the level of their competition, or they are going to play the level of competition rather, and just let down against some of these teams that have their stars up. But we've been tracking it all year. Ja, Zion, Giannis coming up this week. And obviously LeBron and Luka here, they've seen numerous opponents without their stars this year and have just rolled through them. It hasn't been a change in their approach, their energy. Early in this game, Walsh is guarding Reeves full court. The defensive energy's there. They're forcing turnovers. It doesn't matter if they're playing the Knicks, Lakers with nobody, the Pelicans, whoever. They're playing with a similar level of energy and effort each night. That big letdown was the Nets game, obviously, which wasn't a case of star players being out.
It's interesting because in the past 2 years of me covering this team, the number one most risky kind of game would be when the stars would sit, because that bench players are going to go crazy. Either you're facing like last year's championship team or just the Celtics that were stacked, and then meanwhile you have on the Celtics side guys that have accomplished a lot, have achieved a lot, and we're going to naturally take it for granted. But that psychological dynamic doesn't really exist right now. I don't think teams are getting up to play the Celtics the way that they used to. Obviously,
interesting.
Obviously, maybe the Lakers is a little bit of an exception. I mean, we know it's not the same, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the same as last year's team. But more importantly than that, I think you're not going to see a guy like Jordan Walsh and Josh Minot and Kata be like, these guys,
Yeah,
I'm much better than these guys. Like, these guys weren't even playing in the NBA a few months ago, right? So it's just a completely different makeup. But it was so not fun to watch those games where like a random role player would go off and the Celtics were kind of like take them a quarter or two to wake up. That it's actually been a nice change of pace. That's not been a dynamic this season. And for all the talk about how many teams they've played that have been shorthanded, I can't remember like one random role player that's gone crazy against them. And I feel like last year that was the natural course of action. I mean, 2 years ago, Anthony Davis and LeBron sat here. Celtics lost that game.
Yeah, and I think, we were so frustrated with that defensive approach in years past, John, where it's sit back, drop, don't defend the guy who's
Oh, God, I couldn't stand that.
It was such a passive approach. Now they're taking the effort, the issue to teams and guarding from the inbounds on the opposite side, and everything's switching, ball pressure, playing up, rotating. When you're playing that style that requires that level of attention to detail, it probably is hard to fall asleep and go through the motions, because every single second you're reacting to what's going on and you have to switch where you're playing and adjust to a new matchup or rotate if someone loses their guy. So this definitely, breeds a level of, just effort and enthusiasm and focus, certainly the style that they're playing this year. And it's so much more fun to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's just also no complacency. Like as Jordan Walsh got up this morning knowing he's going to be tasked with guarding Austin Reeves, who's averaging 40 points a game. And
JJ said it pregame.
When Luka's, sidelined. So is Jordan going to say, but LeBron's not playing, so I'm not really feeling this matchup? Like, obviously not, right? Yeah. So there's just no way to simulate that type of environment when you're Drew Holiday and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis and guys that are just in a completely different spot in their career. Like that's the nice thing about the young group. And then also I think for Jaylen himself, every night is different now than it once was, because every night is the challenge of like, can I take these guys and lead them to another improbable victory? I don't know if it's improbable anymore, but I think that he's not going to have as many nights where maybe he's a little bit more complacent or kind of taking things for granted. So yeah, it really hasn't been a dynamic. I mean, you mentioned the Nets game, like maybe that's the only one. Utah for stretches, but for the most part, they've been pretty consistent.
Utah, oh God.
So you have a lot of games like these, John. You have games where they've actually been tested recently. I know you've turned your approach to this team or your thought on this team a little bit over the last week here, where they did get those big time tests. Obviously, their stats, the offense, the net rating, all of that's a little inflated by some of these games, but you do have a good mix this many games into the season of a variety of opponents,
like I said,
availabilities, this and that.
I said it
to a point where you just have to consider this a good team. I feel like
I said, just give me the week, give me this. I want to see this stretch because again, you mentioned it off the top. I do think, and not to keep repeating myself, I think you could throw out a lot of stuff that happened early because again, some of the teams they were playing were shorthanded and this and that, and it was still around 500 ball. So like, I couldn't really gauge, is anything real happening here at this point? Again, this is the last two games, notwithstanding the stretch that preceded that, where you're beating the Knicks and the Pistons. I mean, that was inspired basketball, and they're playing high, and not just that, high level basketball, both in terms of effort and execution. And that's, you can't ask for more out of these guys right now than what you're getting. And again, Joe mentioned it, and I am kind of a little bit curious that he drew attention to it himself without being prodded on it. But I'm not putting a pessimistic light on it. I hadn't thought of it until Mazzulla said it, but they're shooting really well right now. And you do wonder if there's a cool down coming, because tonight, was it an effort and execution win? Sure, to an extent, but they also shot 70% through like a quarter, through the first 20 minutes of the game, and just put it away. So they couldn't friggin' miss. I guess the people who haven't proven out that they can do this, like your Minots or your Walshes, you want to see over the course of the season where that goes in terms of their ability to hit those open shots when the defense's attention is being drawn towards Jalen and some of the other guys you expect it to. That might be the only thing where you could think. But again, the most important thing to me is that they never let up. As you mentioned, we were racking our brain to find, there's really only a couple instances this year where you're like, I don't think they came out with an A effort. Like over the last couple of years, we're talking about championship team came out multiple times without their A effort. They just had so much talent they could play a quarter and win half of those games. And then last year was a really inconsistent year. This year, you're getting consistently good effort, and it's been pretty impressive.
I think Joe has actually scared them into trying. I'm not even joking. I think that
they are.
His style of coaching, the punishment that they get for not trying is like, he's just like, okay, go sit in the bench. You're not going to start. You're not even going to freaking play if I think that you're not trying hard enough out there on the court, or if you're not listening to what I'm saying, or if you're not, if we go over something in practice and you go out and do the opposite thing, guess what? Find the bench. And I think these guys are scared into playing basketball to their best ability, which is a great thing. And you said it a couple of games ago, John, like you give Joe a huge slice of the credit cake up to this point in the season. And I have to agree. I think he's really coaching these guys up. And I don't think you can, we're talking about Jaylen Brown in the MVP consideration. I think at some point, if this continues the way it is, Joe Mazzulla is going to be in the Coach of the Year conversation. Absolutely. And he should be. Obviously, OKC,
Jimmy.
They win 85 games or 75 games, and yeah, it's not going to happen. But, point being, Missoula's found a way to get these guys to show up. And sometimes in a professional, in basketball or in hockey or, these leagues that there's so many games, right? It's not always the case. And who knows? I don't know what's going to happen by game 60, but right now he has the Celtics seemingly like the most ready team somehow, almost, I would say, in the NBA. Again, you have OKC out west and you get some other teams out west, but I just think that this team's up for the challenge every single night, and that's a testament to the coach. And again, I give Jaylen Brown a lot of credit too, because he really is leading these younger guys. And you look around the league, there's a lot of superstars with bad attitudes, egos. They're in street clothes. They're not playing for whatever reason they want to choose. And Jaylen Brown, good luck getting that guy off the court. And he's taken this season that a lot of, I think, superstars would say, I'm not gonna hurt myself for a down year, or I'm pissed. This is supposed to be one of the best, seasons of my career, and you guys are trading away guys who can help me win. And he could have put a stink up there, but he's not. Everything he's said and done is good.
But that was a fear, right? Like that
it was for me. Not the attitude, but just why risk it?
Well,
what are you putting around me?
No, but look at it this way. Rewind to the first 3 games of the season, because it's really interesting. If you look at like a sliding door sort of situation, like they started 0-3 throughout camp. Joe Mazzulla was not loving what he was getting out of these guys. The preseason games, you could tell he was agitated. He wasn't able to get them to do what he wanted to do. They start out there 0-3, and we're kind of sitting here like, oh man, this might be our worst fears. And the vibe, not just from like Mazzulla, but like from Brown, from White, asking about, when they're being asked what's going on, he's like, just look at what we got around us. Like that could have gone south fast if things didn't turn around.
So there were 2 turnaround,
which is why I give my biggest slice to Mazzulla and to Brown. Mazzulla and Brown get almost all of my credit here, is if that went off the rails early and continued on for a bit, you do wonder at which point you might get like I might sit this one out, or a little bit of checkout. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 moments early, I feel like were real turning points. To Jimmy's point about the coaching and that anyone could come off the bench and anyone could be benched, they started Hugo Gonzalez the 3rd game of the year in place of Sam Hauser, who, again, it's not starting him in place of Jalen, but it's a rookie starting in place of one of the championship rotation guys 3 games into the year. And that was their best effort to that point. They blew the game late, but I feel like that was a big moment for Joe in terms of his ability to adjust and change things in unexpected ways on the fly. And then to the Jalen point, the following night on the back-to-back in New Orleans, he's lined up for that rest night. You're worried about this team falling 0-4, and he plays, and obviously plays every game from that point on up until the Washington game yesterday, and they get their first win that night. I thought that was so crucial for him to get into that game. Not play a ton, not do a ton, but just make himself available. Whereas you said, John, you could just say, we're 0-3, I'm hurting, I'm going to take a night off.
Well, I think that was the thing that was evident from training camp, and obviously training camps across the league sounded really positive, and a lot of those training camps bubbles have already burst weeks ago. But there was a clear level of buy-in, and I do think from Jalen in particular, like you said, Jimmy, a lot of people, especially him, because we know that he can be, he's very cognizant of the dynamics around him and Tatum and all in the media and all of that. Like, I don't think that he ever took it as a slight that they had a much younger group around him. Like, he acknowledged it, but he has seemed to really embrace the challenge of training up Josh and Ugo and Jordan from the jump. And he, from training camp, was like, I'm really excited about these guys. It's going to take a lot of work, but I'm really excited about these guys. And it's really been nothing but positive from everyone that has spoken to us. And yes, they're media trained and they know not to say the wrong thing. And I'm sure that individual guys have had individual moments of frustration, but you can read between the lines. I think even Anthony Simons has come in and like accepted the fact that he's not going to be a top scoring option
and he's
nor a starter.
Simons too.
Yeah, and when he's had moments where he's played 11 games, like you haven't really seen any cracks in the kind of collective buy-in for this team, and I think that's been probably the number one key to their success. And the other piece of it is I actually think they have some really talented players and players that are more talented than we realize. Like the Jordan Walsh jump, like we can credit Joe, we can credit Jalen, we can credit the leadership, but like this guy's good, and I don't know if that's we should go back and look at who coached him in Maine and who's been working with him on the sideline. Craig Luciana, the head of player development, has been working with him before every game. Brad Stevens for, drafting him 2 years ago, and a lot of us weren't sure about that pick a month ago, I would say. So you can't discredit at the Josh Minos shooting 43% from three. Like these guys individually have really maximized their own potential, and I never would have projected that all of them would be upside players right now. Like Ugo looks good. Like there's just, I thought one of them was going to be good and the other 3 were going to be washes in this season.
Yeah, I would say, for me, the turning point was, I don't think it really got here until this trip. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were kind of, a little good, a little bad, better than we thought in some cases. But again, you have those couple, I thought the Cleveland game that followed that Memphis game was a big deal because again, they didn't have everybody, but they had plenty of good players on the court there. And they beat them soundly in that game. But then you see the Houston game, which to me was like a massive step back / reality check. Like, here's what happens when you play somebody real that's got everybody together. You follow that with a loss to Utah, and you're like, I don't like
Utah
this.
one was bad.
And so then you Washington, you split with Orlando, you lose to Philly, Memphis with nobody, and then all of a sudden, and then you lose a Brooklyn game too. So that's why it's like I didn't count much until you got to that stretch. Yeah, I didn't know what was real. But then, like I said, that stretch, Orlando, Detroit, Minnesota could have been a win. Cleveland, New York, and then these last 2 here. I think the turning point was, as you said, Ugo in game 3, and then being able to pull the plug on Sam and go with something totally different with Minot that worked for a little bit, and then pulling the plug and going to Walsh, and then the evolution of kind of the small ball lineup, which I think has unlocked a lot for this team. Recently, and just the way that they're playing, there's a lot more jump to these guys now, and I love. I mean, no offense to Garza because I think he's done what's asked of him, but I'm so happy when Keita goes to the bench and it's not Garza coming in behind him, that they're finding other ways to play there, and it's been effective and they've survived it, which we didn't know that they could do. I think that's a huge part of their success, that they can play small with this team and get away with it, as opposed to just sticking a Garza level player out there and try to survive his minutes and just be like white knuckling it the whole way through. It hasn't happened.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just astonishing that they're 2-0 without Kata, with wins against the Jalen Duren and the Pistons and Evan Mobley and the Cavs. Like I don't think we would have foreseen that, especially when his on-off rating was so so crazy the first couple weeks of the season. So they've shown. I mean, obviously it'll be different to be down multiple players or more extended absence. Like they've still, knock on wood, have had good health, but we've seen how they adjust to those little absences and cracks. And even, the Wizards were terrible, but to win by 45 points without Jaylen Brown, it's a good indication that it's not just Jaylen that's making the engine kind of tick.
Yeah, I take any positive as a plus when we had no idea who this team was coming into the year. Were they good at all was what we asked. So the fact that they have blown out numerous opponents, that they are this far high above 500, this high in offensive rating, especially recently, that's all just gravy to me, because the fact that we had no clue who this team was going to be coming into the year. So the fact that there's so much, remember earlier in the year, John, I was saying there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. Right now, it's a lot of good, and a little bit of bad. Like that's where they're at now. They've shifted in that direction.
I'm not finding a lot of bad. I guess one thing I'll say about this team that I would not have said a week ago is you can confidently think that they can compete with most teams out there. Like, yeah, you're not putting them up against OKC, but there's really certainly not in the East anyone who you'd be like, oh, they can't. And that was the test. I think that's the thing that changed my perception a little bit. I said it the other day. We were looking at the bottom of the East saying they can't be worse than these guys, but the top of the East is not good at all. They're fine.
See Toronto Sunday. It's going to be interesting to see them because they're
fine.
They've been one of the elite teams.
There's some good teams, but they're not great. They're not great.
The East feels incredibly open. And, I think Gary asked Jalen about, maybe there was a moment of like us looking at them as this underdog team. But in reality, when you actually stack them up against some of the top 5 seeds in the East, like they stack up fine. So, that's why when we were talking about Giannis yesterday, it's like if Giannis is to leave Milwaukee, he has to stay in the East, because who would leave the East right now? It's a great place to be if you're trying to make the finals.
Yeah, and I was, we played the Marcus sound there, and I was talking to him a little bit before the game about that. Like the fact that you do look at this team, this organization, and it's different faces, but there's still so much of the same from their elite years. And there's enough there combined with some good development, combined with some good coaching to put a team in position to maybe be one of the best teams in this conference. Because think of the questions we'll ask about all the other teams in the East. Miami's interesting because they have like that coaching pedigree with Spoelstra that puts them in those positions, even though Butler's not there anymore. But when you look at every other team in the East, even Cleveland, who a lot of us had some high aspirations for going this year, Orlando, who Jimmy and I loved, the Knicks, who looked like they were ready to win after the run they went on last year, there's still that question with every single team in the East of, yeah, you're good. Yeah, you've had good seasons, but you haven't done it in the playoffs. And that's actually one that the Celtics won't have to answer because of how many guys are on this team who have done it in the playoffs and who have won a championship at this point. It's a lot of new faces, but I think enough of that fabric's here, John. I don't know how you feel about that. Like, let's say this team does stay healthy. They stay on this trajectory this year, regardless of whether Tatum comes back or not, because that could obviously be such a swing factor with this. Is there enough here to make you say, that's still to some degree that championship team from a couple years ago, or is it too different?
This team?
Yeah.
The Celtics? No, they're not. I mean, no, this is a completely different team.
So you don't think there's enough of that fabric left in place to say, ooh, they could go on?
No, and I think that's a good thing in the sense that like that team was basically a super team. It was an assembled, they were hired, they were mercenaries. They were hired guns. They were brought in here on a short contract to win now. And they did, like, immediately. And you knew there was an expiration date on it, and you knew you were going to have to detonate the entire thing. But it was in the hands of stars. I mean, you look how deep that this team went. So no, this is a completely different team. I'm surprised that they, I like the identity of it right now. And I'm amazed in the same way, but different. We didn't know how they would gel when they brought in Porzingis and Holiday into a team with Brown and Tatum, with White ascending as an offensive player and someone who was, deserving of more touches and more responsibility. How was that going to work? And it worked beautifully. In the same way, I can't believe that this came together as quickly as it did, which is again why I keep going back to Joe for a ton of credit for like finding what was going to work. I know I teased him and you guys for buying into the whole, like, our superpower is our depth and this and that. I still don't
my
believe
doubts about
that.
that
I
comment.
believe it's
You
finding
still
the
believe
right.
it?
No, because I think what he was doing was I got to keep trying new things until this tastes right. You know, I'm just going to keep mixing and matching ingredients and a little of this, a little of that until I find it. It's actually pretty consistent now. Sometimes you get a little bit more Ugo in there, but right now he's kind of locked in, wouldn't you say? Like we kind of know who's going to do what in most games in terms of minutes and role.
But it could
with some variation, but it seems like they've settled in on what they like. So I never thought they were going to change night to night, which is one night Walsh plays 25 minutes and another night he plays 0. I never bought that. But it seems like he's found a groove with the type of players he likes and the type of style, and they're going to kind of ride it.
Do you feel like they're close rotation-wise, style-wise to what they're going to be at the rest of the way?
Yeah, I mean, they're a lot closer than they were a couple weeks ago. I still think there's a lot of potential variation. Like somebody like Baylor might play 5 minutes one night and 20 another, depending on how other guys are doing, and obviously foul trouble and things like that.
Sure. You
I
saw
still
Ugo,
feel like
Ugo supplanted Walsh the other night. Sure, you can see a
for
hot
sure,
hand
right.
sort
Like
of
there's
thing.
more flexibility than there was in previous years.
Yeah.
And there isn't a clear, like if somebody's out, I don't inherently know who is going to start in their place, which is different. Like I would never have projected that Xavier Tillman was going to start at that Cavs game and play 30 minutes. Like I still think there's a little bit more unpredictability, but the idea that that 5th spot was going to rotate all season, that was not sustainable. And so I would be, I expect it to remain Walsh for the rest of the season. Would I be absolutely stunned if at some point it's somebody else? No, because it hasn't been like that established of a stretch. But I think that Joe has he wants to have the structure and like guys knowing their roles, but there is going to be a little bit of, variability that just wasn't there the last few years.
And I think the question John asked earlier is a good one too when it comes to that sustainability, because the Minot center lineup, I love it. It feels like it's working right now. The offense is outstanding when they play small and fast into the second unit like that. But does it hit a wall? Do teams start to expose it a little bit? Do you have to go back to some backup centers or bigger lineups because of teams taking advantage of them? And I find it interesting, you repost a lot that last 10 game stat where they've emerged as a number 1 offense over that stretch by miles. But they've also dipped to the middle bottom tier defenses around the league because obviously their rebounding is an issue and they just give up a lot.
Everything's a trade-off, as Joe says.
It is.
Yeah, and one concern that I have with the small ball, or just in general with their front court rotation still, is they haven't faced some of the league's best bigs yet. Like I'm still not sure about how this team matches up agast Jokic. To be honest with you,
is Jordan Walsh going to guard Wemby when the time comes?
I don't know, but you think about Giannis, you think about Jokic, you think about even Sengun, like some of these guys that are some of the craftiest, most talented bigs in the league. Some of them are injured. Like normally, as when Joel Embiid would come to mind, I feel like there's a little bit of some scarcity there, but that's still an area of potential concern. Or not even I don't think they can solve it, but we haven't really seen that test quite yet.
I'm excited about Toronto. Yeah,
you're always excited about Toronto. You're always excited about Toronto.
Hey, they're back. They're rolling. They're one of the best teams in the East, and you just keep seeing these tests.
I think someone asked a little. I think they feasted a little bit on sub 500 team. We'll see how they fare the rest of the year. But
someone asked a question earlier: how much more would Bobby like this team if they were Toronto?
Someone said that. No way.
In the chat. Yeah, in the chat. Yeah.
Only a game behind Toronto now.
Got the best of both worlds here. Well, I want to bring that up. This team's rising in the standings fast, and I don't know how much we take from the first quarter of the season. They're super healthy right now. There's still so much, and I don't want to damper the high this team is on right now, but there is a lot about this team that feels a little unsustainable. We've talked about their offensive approach.
And Josh shooting 44% from 3.
Yeah, the shooting a little bit.
John mentioned the shooting, but also
most of them, not by the main guys, but all of the role players are shooting very well.
Yeah,
that's the part that I'm like, is this?
And then the intense effort, the night-to-night focus, they've gotten that through the whole schedule, save 2 or 3 games.
You're Walsh, Minot, Ugo, Keita. Those guys are never not going to play hard. They're going to there might have lapses, but they're never not. There's too many guys and Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, those guys are never not going to play hard. There's no players on this team that you're worried about that okay, this guy's gonna I just don't see it. It's the shooting. But again, if some shooting comes down, others can go up. So again, that balance there, Minot drops from 42%, Derek White's still at 32 and Pritchard's at 33 from 3. Those guys are coming up.
Right.
Like, there's no question. Sam Hauser's,
coming up.
I mean, after some success tonight and recently, he's only up at 34%. So that's going to counterbalance, I think, a little bit there. The problem is if you're not leaning on your Simons and your Hausers who are shooting well, and are you going to start to have to peel? If Minot put it this way, if Minot and Walsh go dead cold and basically shoot like 28% from 3 the rest of the way, are their minutes coming down? Like, how important is it that they're how important is this possibly unsustainable shooting from these guys to the minutes that they're getting? Because you're not sacrificing anything with them out there, which makes sense that they're playing, because Noah's made it up, pointed out before, is like they're not killing you offensively. You're swinging the ball to them open in the corner and they're hitting their shots. Why would you take them off the court when they're bringing you defense and rebounding as well?
And that's been the hard thing for Sam as far as his minutes go, is his advantage is supposed to be the 3-point shooting. And then if Jordan and Ugo and Baylor and Josh are all shooting at a higher clip than him, then how are his minutes warranted? And yes, he has a higher shot difficulty, higher shot quality, but that's been the whole story so far this season. I mean, Jordan was 4 or 5 from 3 tonight, career high shooting for him. He's never hit more than 2 threes entering tonight. So there's a lot that right now feels a little bit up in the air, but like you said, John, I think it's overall going to kind of regress to the mean. I don't think they've been shooting lights out as a collective. And we underrated, like, that shooting start to the season was kind of absurd. Like, Peyton Pritchard and Derek White both shooting like 20% from 3.
They were like 27th in the league.
Yeah, it's absurd that happened. And it's absurd that it happened, right? And I think a lot of it was not because of Tatum being out and the new roster. I think they were just both in concurrent shooting slumps that were kind of getting worse with all the spotlight and attention on it.
And
but
this is another good Derek one. I want to mention, though, because
he's totally back as far as like his confidence and everything.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm with you on that now. I was still holding out a couple of games ago, but that got proven right, I believe. I want to, when we mentioned guys could fall out of the mix, new guys could step into it. I said this a week or two ago, and Jimmy kind of laughed at it. I feel like we're so close to a Shireman surge. Like, this little stretch he's been on.
Still laughing, but okay.
2-3 weeks here, and I get why, Jimmy, because it's hard to grasp like his 15 minutes or whatever it is. It's a short run that he gets in a lot of these games where he makes the most of it. And this was another one where I feel like every minute he played, he's defending, he's shooting better now. He's making plays on the move. There's a lot he brings to the table, and he's been marginalized about as much as anyone on this roster outside of maybe Chris Boucher. But I just love the way that 5-6 minutes, 2-3 shots, he's made the most of it. And I know you mentioned today, like he's shooting well for the season at this point. It's 3 points per game. So you would look at his stat sheet and say, Baylor's not doing much for this team. But in the minutes he is playing, he's given them a lot. And I feel like there's been other guys on this roster who, when you've thrown them in for a couple minutes and haven't given them much opportunity, you're not getting a ton from them. I feel like nobody on this roster is making the most of their minutes more than Baylor. So if the opportunity does come up where Walsh fades, Minot, isn't a good option anymore at a perimeter position, I think Shireman's going to step into some opportunity soon and really start to show some productivity like we saw.
So you want to see those guys fail so you can be proven right, is what you're saying.
No, but it feels inevitable.
That, somebody turns their ankle for 5 games and now you have, or 2 games, and now you have Baylor kind of surging into that role. And that's part of it is, everybody's been available so far. And Joe is still finding spots for him. Like that stood out to me earlier this season where even when they were fully available and he had his rotation, he still gave Baylor like 5 minutes, which is different than getting.
And why do you think that is?
Because I think he handles those 5 minutes well. Not everybody can come in and do that, like you just said. Like he comes in and on the defensive end, he racks up steals, he makes smart plays, he gets a tip out rebound. Like he's just a smart player, and he's not going to blow you away. And I think the offensive efficiency has actually been really good. And I know people can laugh at, he's only averaging. I posted like his field goal and 3-point percentage this season a couple of days ago. I think he's at like 60% from the field, 50% from 3, and people were like, "Well, he's averaging 3 points," but that's all he can do in those minutes, and that's the same sample size that everybody was freaking out about at Summer League. That same sample size now we're seeing during the season. He's finding his spots and everything. So I 100% expect there to be a stretch of the season where he becomes a more impactful, kind of bigger minute.
And that's what I've wanted to see from him. I feel like he, more than anyone on this team, and everybody talks about in the league, right? We're all the stars on our high school team. We're all the stars on our college team for the most part. He, more than anyone, I felt like embodied that of he's coming into these games, he's dribbling a lot, he's taking crazy shots, he's taking a lot of shots in some of these situations. And
like this Summer League, you mean?
Yeah, or even games late last year, he had the opportunity to do that. Now,
Go make the most of 5-6 minutes. Play a role.
That's so hard to do. So it's been impressive. It stands out.
He's getting better at it, and I love to see it.
Because we don't freak out when a guy plays for 5 minutes and doesn't do anything. It doesn't make the post-game show because it's like,
yeah, I want to
kind of
emphasize
irrelevant,
him because we haven't
he
been able to
has
talk
done the
about
reverse,
him.
and I think that's why he keeps kind of getting that. And then like nights like last night, he was a plus 42 in 25 minutes.
42?
Plus 42.
Damn.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
What?
I'm just curious. What did Anthony Simons do that he didn't deserve minutes in the second half after his first half stint?
I think it's always that case of you want to play more wings. Like Shireman benefits from that. Walsh obviously isn't going to lose minutes. Minot's going to get minutes at the 5, obviously. And then you just keep going down the line of that wing depth. Hauser's a guy I wonder what the trade-off is there because of the shooting thing we're talking about, because I feel like you need some assignment shooting. And we didn't mention him last night. I don't know if you guys did. He lit it up in the 4th last night. And you're like, all right, maybe that carries over.
He did.
Maybe he had a great, I thought he had a great first quarter stint.
Yeah.
Maybe
so
the best
happened?
6 minutes of his Celtics career.
That's what I mean is I don't know what happened. I thought he played really well today when he came in. And then he just didn't play really. And that's weird.
Tough.
And so
he
did, but it was just less. I think he had he had a good 10-minute stint in the first and the second quarter. He had 6 minutes or something in the second half and I don't even know if he got a shot attempt. So it's so weird to just have him just go away. I'm still not understanding what's going on there rotationally, that he gets kind of forgotten that way. This isn't a critical point. I looked at the box score. I'm like, wow, where did he go? Because I thought he was playing well. I thought he was playing well in that first half.
I think the question we're going to start asking more and more about him as the trade deadline gets closer and, the year progresses here. Is it better to have this version of if this team's going to be a serious winning team, you're talking about them going deep in the playoffs, whatever your dream scenario would be this year. Is it better to have him playing this small role where sometimes you do get those bursts from him? He's situational. He's obviously super skilled and you can go to him. And if there's an injury, obviously he could step into a
zero field goal attempts in the second half. Zero. I'm not sure the minutes. I was trying to find the minutes, but 0 field goal attempts in the second half.
Or if you do have the opportunity,
it was 5 or 6 minutes, but I don't know exactly. It was one short stint. He barely touched the ball, went away, and that was it.
Yeah, this is where he's at on this team. We've talked about it a million times.
And he was plus 20 something in his 10 minutes in the first half. It was just weird, and it was just, the whole thing was weird. And again, it might be a positional thing. If you are trading him outright, again, you which is fine. You can't find a role for him here. And I'm not advocating it because again, they're playing well with the usage that he has right now with the minutes that he's playing. It's not a big deal. I don't get what he has to do to stay in there after.
I don't think it's his fault. I think it's just the position he plays, the team, and what they want to do this year. It's Schroeder. We said it a million times. So are you better off just accepting this for what it is? Because it's been helpful. It's not what you would dream of it being. Or are you better off flipping them for 2, 3, and D wings, guys who fit the mold of this team, who can help you in the ways that you want from role players?
But the rotation is weird. Guys. Yesterday he entered the game at the 5-minute. Pritchard went out early at the 5-minute mark of the first quarter. He came in, and today was about 6.5 minutes. So that's a new rotation thing where Pritchard's coming out early, and he's getting some run with Jalen and the starters a little bit, which I think is good because when it was just second quarter minutes and he was on his own, I felt like he was just dribbling around. It was just him shooting, and there was no one there to help him. So maybe that was trying to kickstart him a little bit to get him out there with that combination of players. And that's what happened. Then he didn't play the entire third quarter. So it's very weird because usually your third quarter rotations mirror your first quarter substitution patterns, more closely, unless it's a super close game and you're kind of playing things a little tighter, but it wasn't. So I don't get what happened there. That's the easy. You're always going to get that. He doesn't play the entire third and he comes out for a couple minutes in the fourth quarter, doesn't do a thing. I find it odd. I can't figure it out. And I'm not necessarily saying he should be playing more. I don't know what he needs to do to get in there. It's the whole thing is bizarre. We're going to wrap it on this, guys. Jaylen Brown asked for his all-time Celtics team. He left both himself and Jason Tatum off this team. Okay. Do you agree? Do you agree with his choices?
Can we say what his top 5 was? Do we know?
It was Rondo, It was Pierce, it was Bird, it was KG, and it was who was the last one?
Havlicek?
Russell.
Oh, Russell.
So I feel like he was trying to build a real team. Like you want a point guard, so you go with Rondo, and then some of the other guys who I could
over Kuz.
This to me wasn't like the all Celtics team necessarily, like because I probably would take Rondo off and put McHale in.
No, would put Rondo 5 times.
I actually was gonna say Rondo's one of my all-time favorite players, and I would not put him there most likely.
Yeah, he won a point guard.
He's there
No,
has to
he's
be,
not
yeah,
like he's not like an all-time.
I don't think Jalen put that much thought into his. I think we already put more thought into it than he did in that clip.
Does
but,
Tatum deserve a spot? Probably, right?
I mean,
So
I
here's
feel like
where
I can have
it
more
gets
active players,
juicy.
he would not.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Pierce or
Where do you
Tatum?
think?
I mean, Pierce or Tatum.
We've talked about and we've debated. There's been moments where we've said, "Oh, is Tatum playing on a Bird level right now for stretches, right? Not the career achievements to this point, but when you're talking about him having a 60-point game, leading a championship team in large degree, and just the overall total numbers he's put up to begin his Celtics career here, along with the fact that if we are trying to build a team, he can play point guard for a team, obviously, as he has for this team. I'd put him in there over Rondo probably, and then McHale would be like the 6th man.
Over Rondo?
Anyway, I'd put Tatum in over Rondo.
I thought you were asking about Pierce, but I was gonna say.
Of course. Like what?
I think
I
Tatum.
think Pierce deserves to be on the team.
Yeah.
It's
John,
Tatum
were you
over.
asking?
Yeah.
Asking about Pierce specifically?
John's a Pierce hater, so he's doing this so that we can take Pierce off. The
Okay.
list.
Well, I was gonna.
I'm not a Pierce
specifically-
hater. I'm not a.
You
Pierce
actually are a Pierce hater.
No,
Well,
I'm
I
a
can just
Pierce.
say, I
I'm
think
a Pierce
already-
realist.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we can probably we could probably pull the clips of John hating on Pierce as the guy's raising his number up to the rafter. John's like, yeah, he wasn't really that good though. He actually stopped.
I do remember that.
The
No.
jersey's
I
going
think,
up.
I think he's kind of
John,
a
well,
doofus.
maybe.
And he's
I'll just
and he's
say-
and he's
I mean,
proven that out in his post-playing career. But Pierce was an outstanding player, but the reality is he had one MVP finish inside the top 10, and that was
Because
7th.
He was
He's got-
severely
I think
under.
he's
Tatum
got
and
two-
Brown are both gonna finish as better Celtics than Paul Pierce. when it's all
Tatum's
said
there
and done.
now.
Wow.
Tatum's last
Why
4
is
years are
Tatum's
Brown
already
now?
ahead of
Why
Pierce.
is Tatum ahead of Brown now, and Brown has
just simply based on accolades. Just he's got
I think
got
when you're talking
multiple.
about like franchise standing, I feel like that's a.
I mean, he's
Pierce
clearly
is
ahead of Brown.
franchise
I don't wanna open this
standing.
can of worms.
Pierce is ahead of those guys.
They're both gonna finish ahead of Paul Pierce when it's all said and done.
In
my
what?
opinion.
Jalen's got some more work to do. I'd
As
say.
all-time Celtics.
No, they're
Like I think in
not.
terms of
Throw some respect.
Tatum's
on
already
Pierce's
ahead of
name.
Pierce.
Tatum's way
Tatum's
ahead of Pierce. So
absolutely
so is
ahead of Pierce.
Havlicek, by the way. But I mean,
Yes, he
I don't
is.
really count. I don't
Way
count the
ahead of
60s.
Pierce.
You know,
Way ahead of
Any-
Pierce. Bob, it's because
I
you
don't
were
know
in
about
diapers
way.
throughout Pierce's
Jimmy,
career.
take that Paul
Doesn't
Pierce
mean that
Pierce
he's
poster
way
off
ahead
your
of
wall,
Pierce.
Jimmy.
If we look at any of the numbers, any of the
What'd you say?
productivity, and even
I said take that Paul Pierce poster off your walls. I know it's right
Never.
out in
I'm gonna put a second one up actually.
I don't know, Pierce ahead of Tatum's. I think Pierce even said, we interviewed him and he was like, yeah, this guy's going to be the best Celtic ever. And I feel like I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like even Pierce has talked about how he's surpassed what he's done.
the funny thing is like
He will at
Kuzi's the
some
most
point,
accomplished, but also like, you know, plumbers and firefighters and all that, you know, and like Kuzi had played an entire career without the ball ever touching his left hand. So like, you know,
I like
basketball was different then. It's tough, but he was
what is
he was
Jimmy doing?
This is how Kuzi used to do it, hand behind his back.
But he was a wizard for his time. For his time, he was a wizard. The funny thing is the most talented point guard in Celtics history is who? This is a no-brainer.
Thomas.
No, Isaiah's close.
Kyrie Irving.
He's gonna say
Kyrie Irving.
No.
Kyrie.
No,
but
but
he's
I-
not a Celtic,
but
so it doesn't matter.
Okay,
He's not.
fine.
He
Maybe
doesn't
it's
get.
not
He doesn't
Celtic.
get to be on it. He doesn't get to be on a
He's not even a
Celtic team.
part
Go
of
ahead,
it.
Noah.
He doesn't
Why is
qualify.
it a hot take to say that Jalen's already in the same air as Paul Pierce?
Longevity, but
did
he'll
it
get
for
there.
twice
I
as
agree.
long.
Yeah, but it's his 10th. How many years was Pierce in Boston?
14 or so.
15 maybe.
15.
Well, they let him finish out this contract. He'll be there.
98 to 2013.
Pierce.
13, 14.
Pierce.
15 years. 15 years.
Like off the court in Boston.
You have to actually watch Pierce play, which clearly you guys
bit.
didn't. So tonight's
Pierce got
homework,
stabbed.
get on
Watched.
YouTube. Get on
I
YouTube
remember
and
I
watch
watched
some
Pierce. He was
highlights.
the first basketball player I watched, pretty much.
He was great. I don't think there's
already
enough
forgotten.
appreciation for how great he was,
I
but
didn't forget.
Yeah.
I think
these
you
guys
did.
are
I
super
think Jalen and
talented.
Jason are more complete players than Paul Pierce was.
Ooh,
I think
I don't know.
Pierce-
He was a pretty complete player too.
Pierce was one of the most
Defensively,
Pierce
he
could
was
score
a
from
menace.
Pierce could score from all over the court. 3 at the hoop, mid-range games, step back jumper, you name it. Jaylen Brown, I would imagine, watched a lot of Paul Pierce highlights. He should have.
He talked about it last year in the
'Cause
playoffs when he was
they
injured.
have a lot of similarities.
Jalen's better than Pierce too.
No,
he
he's
is.
not. John's just a Pierce hater.
Yes,
Oh,
he
it's a
is.
closer conversation.
Wow,
I feel like.
It's
John's
a
just
closer
huge Pierce hater.
the Tatum conversation, just in terms of accomplishment, isn't close. The Jalen.
How many first teams was he? Was he ever a first?
Who?
Pierce,
Paul
probably.
Pierce has never had a first team.
Pierce was severely
Three
underappreciated
teams,
and underrated.
Three third
in his
teams,
career.
one second team in a 20-year career. Like Tatum's accolades.
Well, here's the difference too, John.
Pierce and Antoine Walker paved the way for the three-point shot. They were ahead of
I
their
was just
time.
gonna go.
Paul Pierce wasn't even a top 10 player of his generation. Like, what are we talking about here, guys?
Well,
Yes, he
Jim,
was.
John, you got to
Yes,
acknowledge.
he was.
he
And
wasn't.
He was just named top 75
I
all
didn't know-
time.
I didn't know you were a
All
Pierce
time.
hater, John.
I'm not a Pierce hater. I think
you
Pierce
are a
was
Pierce
good,
hater.
not great.
I think we have
think-
the same opinion on where he ranks, but I can tell.
I'm
them
not a
we feel
hater.
differently about it.
Pierce was.
You are
People forget
literally a hater.
pre-2008. Pierce was a high volume scorer on a bad team. Those guys are
Well,
a
then it's
dime a
called
dozen.
Bad.
But it doesn't matter. He's
John,
a
he
high volume
carried-
scorer on a bad team.
What do you mean?
And then KG
1
came
year he
in
had a
here,
bad
changed
team.
the culture. Pierce rode his coattails to a title, and then Pierce's
Did not
legacy.
ride his coattails. He was
He did
leading the
not
team.
ride his
He was.
coattails.
That is. See, and you're saying you're not a Pierce hater, and you say stuff like that. By the way,
I'm saying-
Pierce led multiple bad Celtics teams deep into playoff runs, and had unbelievable moments as a Celtic early in his career. You can't just take 2006 and 2007 and extrapolate that and make it seem like that was his career as a Celtic, because it was not by any
Well, this would be a
stretch.
big year for Jalen.
Took
Like,
down
if
the-
Jalen does lead them to the East Finals this year and Tatum doesn't come back, that does change a lot of the conversation for Jalen, who obviously has been relegated in a lot of the achievements that Tatum's been credited for. The tough part for both of them is they've both been so instrumental to each other. And a lot of these other guys is not a similar conversation. There's to some degree, but not to the level that these two have.
That's
sort of
also it's
aided
just
each
hard to
other.
compare guys that brought many titles to Boston versus the guys that brought one.
That's
title.
the problem. Yeah.
But
the other
Pierce
thing.
brought one, and so that's why I feel like that's an
Pierce brought
easier
one.
comparison. Once it gets into like the Bill Russells of the world, like I don't know, 11 titles, I don't even feel like comparing it. Like it doesn't even. It's a different time and all that. It doesn't make any sense. But Paul Pierce was recent enough. One championship, 2.
I don't know if
finals
Russell
runs. I
cracks
feel
my
it's a fair
top 5.
comparison. I just say he's the best Celtic ever.
I don't really count old stuff, but you have to default to those guys. I don't.
I get it.
That'll
I get
drive
it.
people crazy. I
I get
don't.
it.
If I was
Tommy
building my best
Heinsohn's
team,
top 5 Celtic.
Yeah.
I know there's people that are really unhappy in the chat.
if I'm building my best team, Ray Allen's a shooting guard. There's no if it's a team. There's no question. And KG's my small ball 5. If I'm building one for today, if I'm building one for today, it would probably be
behind the 3-point line.
It would probably be KG, Tatum, and Brown with Allen, and then I don't know at point guard. That's a tough one because Kyrie sucks because he's Kyrie.
No,
What about Isaiah
Kyrie's
Thomas?
Not on our damn.
I like Isaiah. I like IT. Yeah.
Isaiah was great.
Defensively,
You try to put
that's
Isaiah in this
hanging in today's
conversation.
game.
Isaiah Thomas.
I would just go with. All right, I've got my top 5. It's
a true all
Brandon
time. You have to put
Bass.
Havlicek. You
I've
have
got
to
my
put
top
Russell.
5 lineup.
Yeah.
It's Rondo, Pierce, KG, Allen, and Perk. That's my top 5, and no one's gonna tell me.
Oh,
Why did it take
Mason,
me
trust me. I think Will Chamberlain's the
Yeah.
best player of all time. Anyway,
Nobody's gonna change my top 5.
Yeah.
That's my top 5.
That's an interesting take.
By the way, that top 5.
I
is
think Will
undefeated in the
Chamberlain
playoffs.
isn't. Yeah.
I mean,
Will
that's
Chamberlain was
starting
Babe
lineup.
Ruth. Yeah.
Oh, you think so?
He was, yeah.
But he
was
couldn't beat
ridiculous.
Bill.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's ridiculous.
Ruth.
Anyway, that's some good rage bait for the end of the show here. I knew people would like it. But
Give me something to
I-
talk
you
about.
know.
Where's
I was,
LeBron
sitting here
rank?
staring up in his face for the last half hour.
Did
LeBron
you
rank
see
all-
LeBron tonight?
No, but he was here.
I
He
didn't
was
see
there.
him, yeah.
yeah, he was wearing
You
a
didn't
hat.
see
He
him,
was wearing a
Robbie?
bucket hat, I think.
Oh, he was?
It's hard to see the Lakers bench.
How do
more,
you
so-
not see LeBron? It's like the only
Wrong
guy
city for the bucket hat, LeBron. He doesn't know the rules.
The
I
streak
think he
is
was wearing a
over.
bucket hat. Yeah.
Bobby, do
Anyway.
you still think that this is LeBron's last season? Because that was a horrible take yesterday.
Yeah. What would have changed
Well, then
overnight
it's
with his
like-
arthritis and his sciatica?
And his bunions.
I don't know, just thinking about how wrong you were, maybe.
All of his old person injuries.
Yeah, I think I feel even better about it.
He's not going to go out there.
That was a
He didn't
masterclass in tone.
He didn't
This
just
is
drop
how
40
he-
behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you had 24 hours to think about how dumb that sentence was, so I thought maybe you would have changed your opinion. But I guess
No,
not.
I think.
No.
That's
All right.
actually
By the way,
Yeah.
JJ to me sounded fed up about like the whole street talk around him and all of that too. Like there just is such an air of like this franchise being done with him.
I
and don't know
didn't
where else
interpret
it's
that.
gonna-
We talked
No,
about
I'm not
this-
necessarily saying that. I'm
I
just
think
saying
JJ
everything.
is just sick of the questions about something.
JJ was
that's
sick
kind
of everything pregame, as he tends to be.
You thought?
Yeah,
Did
he's
you ask him
okay.
a question, Bobby?
I did ask him a question,
How'd it go?
so maybe that contributed to it.
Yeah.
I went okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we are going to wrap it. When are we back? What do we got?
Sunday. Maybe like
Sunday.
6 o'clock, I think.
Okay, so
3:30
we're back.
Oh, is it 3:30? Okay, I like it.
All right, that's nice. Back for another one on Sunday. We will definitely see you there. Jimmy, might be nappy time for Jimmy, but before we go, we're gonna
Fired
we're
up
gonna
now.
hit
The
you.
Pierce hate got me back, baby.
I know. We are gonna hit you one last time with an oldie but goodie, and we're gonna say goodnight to all. Take care, everyone.
I'm crying. I want to make sure Marcus Smart's okay, but we'll keep
Moral
At least
victory.
Jimmy's back. Got Jimmy back.
We do it. Wait, didn't we have Jimmy last game?
Yeah, we did.
On-
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of feels like we just missed.
Back on the
Yeah.
rails.
And honestly,
Jimmy, you're a little quiet right now. You got to get closer to a microphone or speak up.
I'm quiet.
Yeah. a little bit.
Use your lungs. All right, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna put my headphone. I usually don't, but I'm going to. Well, I usually do, but I didn't this time. But I'm going to try to.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about that last
the
play.
dumbest sounding person.
Sloppy friggin' game.
No, but we can
You know,
hear you.
I don't know how you don't. I mean, this is the they're officially concerned about Kemba Walker game, right?
Can you hear me?
Don, that is the most
We got
you
you,
line
Jimmy.
of
Yeah.
all time.
We talked
also.
about this last time. You know,
But
a game or
by the
two.
way, I was
and have
the
him not
most
perform
right
well. And he's just
anyone
getting started.
has
And you
ever
let him
been
ramp
that
up.
season.
Marcus Smart went down tonight, and we're still not completely sure what happened. I'm hoping for the best, that it is just a calf
That was
strain.
literally the
I
beginning of the end for
am a
Kemba, and I
doctor, and
called
I do
it
believe
that
that's what
night.
it is. So hopefully that's all it becomes. But
Look at
when
Marcus Smart still
Kemba
hurt.
Walker just
Guys are
misses
very
the
business
shot,
casual.
we can't
We're at home.
we can't, like, I mean, obviously we will because that's what we do, but that's who we want taking the shot.
Yeah.
Guy. I would, if you have a timeout.
Just ways, yeah.
If you have a timeout, if you're Danny Ainge, and everyone says this, Danny Ainge went out of his way
This
to
part made
hire
no
Brad
sense.
Stevens. When Danny Ainge hired Brad Stevens, look, however years.
I don't know what I was
ago it
drinking that night.
We were like,
we should probably
"Hell,
not drink
who's
that.
this guy?" And am I right or am I wrong in that?
No idea what I was even saying. And then I go, am I right or am I wrong?